First up is Catherine Forster from GB News. I'm not sure that every media channel will quite get that round of applause, but anyway, Catherine, please.
Thank you, Catherine Forster, GB News. Obviously, chaos in Downing Street, the Prime Minister's position very precarious. You've talked about the national interest. What do you think the Prime Minister should do in the national interest? Should he resign now or in the coming weeks? And when you said about something much worse could replace him, could you elaborate on that?
Yes. Look, if a Prime Minister loses credibility, can't command the House of Commons, can't command his own party, doesn't have respect internationally, then it's not in the national interest for him or her to stay. So I think that he should resign, and I think that he will, before very long, resign. I think Anna Sarwar is a very big marker. I mean, how can Labour now fight the Scottish elections if Starmer stays as Prime Minister? It's virtually impossible, isn't it? And the same, I think, will come for Wales very, very shortly. And there's supposed to be a meeting of the Parliamentary Labour Party at 6 o'clock tonight, which could be very entertaining. When I say much worse, they'll go further to the left. The centre of gravity of the Labour Party is being dragged leftwards. It's being dragged leftwards by sectarian votes and fear of losing to more Gaza independence. It's being dragged leftwards by the advent of Zach Polanski. Some pretty crazy ideas, but that's where it's going. So I suspect that the next leader of the Labour Party will have even worse policies on tax, will drive the exodus of talent from the country, and I think things are going to get worse before they get better. But you know, maybe the truth is, if Starmer goes, maybe what the public really deserve is a general election, and that is what we'll push for. Okay, moving on. Any Price, BBC News. Honestly, I said behave. You haven't heard the question yet?
Actually, I didn't know I was getting one, Nigel, but so you think the general election could be far sooner rather than later? You're talking about announcing your shadow cabinet in the coming days. Are you really ready?
Well, you know, we're only really just, we've really only been properly in gear for the last 18, 20 months. What we've achieved in that short space of time is truly remarkable. But it's rather like building a company. The first 25% takes a long time, and then once you've got things moving, things slip into gear very quickly. I said a couple of weeks ago we were 50% prepared. I would argue within a month or 2 months, we will genuinely be ready. Certainly more ready than all of the others. And is it an enormous challenge? Yes. But we've managed to maintain a great sense of spirit, optimism, and team unity. We will be ready, and I'm not sure the general election will come voluntarily. I just think there is an outside possibility that over the summer months, there is some kind of economic market meltdown that brings an early election. So I'm still sticking with it's probably 27, but the chances of it being 26 have gone up considerably in the last 48 hours. Thank you. Sorry. Rob Mayer from BBC Midlands Today. Hello.
Hi, welcome again to the West Midlands. Rob Mayer, BBC Midlands Today. I mean, you had tremendous success in this part of the world at the local elections in May last year. Your key promises were to reduce waste and cut tax. So what do you say to voters who might be feeling let down in places like Staffordshire, Warwickshire, where council tax is going up, and in Worcestershire, where one of your councillors, David Taylor, actually resigned over the weekend over plans to raise council tax by nearly 10%?
Well, Worcestershire's a total basket case. You know that. I know that. It's on the edge of bankruptcy. We are not in majority control in Worcestershire, so I take that out of the equation. But if we want to talk about Staffordshire, I want to talk about Warwickshire. First point, never once did I say we'd cut council tax. Never once. Never once in the campaign. did I say we'd do that? Because I knew it would be impossible given how tough the finances were. What we said is we would find waste and save money. And across our councils, we've made about £300 million in savings thus far. Our council tax increases in the councils we control are lower than the council tax increases for the other parties in the rest of the country. So I would say to you, we're not off to a bad start. Okay, Lewis Warner, ITV News Central.
Thank you. I'd like to ask, you said you're on a general election war footing. If the Prime Minister does resign in the coming days, would you call on that next Labour leader to call a general election? Are you ready for that? And if so, why should they? Because some of the MPs sitting opposite here didn't call a by-election when they defected.
No, they didn't. You're right. And of the last 200 and something MP defections, only 2 have ever occasioned by-elections. I just think legitimacy of prime ministers. We've had so many prime ministers now. Where is the legitimacy of a prime minister who's not been approved by the people? And I think the office of prime minister is being rapidly devalued. Yes, I accept it's the Conservative Party that did that. I mean, it was hard to keep up at times, wasn't it, how many there were? But no, I think there will be a big call in the country for a general election. They may well ignore it, and they probably will ignore it, as I said earlier, but do not underestimate financial events spiralling out of control if they go for a leader that is on the hard left of British economics. So I still think it may happen. I doubt they will offer it to us, sadly. Sophie Church, Daily Mail.
Thanks, Nigel. So if you are to succeed at the next general election, how will you host sensible, productive conversations with the civil service, given you've said you'll slash numbers, and in response, civil servants have said they'll revolt?
Well, we've had civil servants saying that they're suffering through emotional trauma at the prospects of a reform government. Well, that sounds like the first cost cuttings are going to be quite easy, doesn't it, really? I do not have direct experience of working with the civil service. Richard Tice and I have not been in that position before. But we've spoken to enough people who tell us there are many good people in the civil service who want to do their best. And what we have to do is find out who are the good ones and keep them. And with the advent of AI, I promise you, with the advent of AI, there are going to be a lot of job losses in the civil service anyway. What we cannot have is an obstructive civil service that willfully try to prevent the manifesto of a government being put through. And to a very large extent, that is what Danny Kruger has come into the party to do, to prepare us for government, to work out what executive powers we do have or don't have, and make sure we make the right choices. I mean, it's the same with the House of Lords. That's another potential obstruction to what we need to do. So I understand the question, we are thinking about it, and we are working on it. Genevieve from the Daily Telegraph.
Hi, Nigel. You say that you want to put experts from outside of politics onto your front bench, and you'll be announcing names within the next few days. But how would you do this if you were to get into power? Would you use the House of Lords and appoint them peerages in order to get them into those positions? And previously, you said that you want to abolish the House of Lords. Is that still your position? Well,
the House of Lords as it currently exists is an absolute monstrosity. Absolute monstrosity. I mean, filled up with hundreds of Tony Blair's mates and David Cameron's mates, most of whom live within the same 2 postcodes in West London. I mean, it's a nonsense. No, radical change to the House of Lords. Look, If you appoint people from outside, you've got two options. If they're not in Parliament, one is, yes, the traditional route, you put them in the House of Lords. A better route, in my opinion, is to make the committees that meet in the House of Commons more powerful, to give them legal force, so that ministers can genuinely be held to account. And that, to me, would be a far better system. It really, really would. Sophie from the Daily Mirror.
Hi, thanks, Nigel. So last year, one of your new MPs, Robert Jenrick, complained about visiting Handsworth in Birmingham, where he said he didn't see another white face when he was speaking about integration. Do you think the best way to assess whether an area is integrated is by the number of white people in it? Thank you.
No, it's by, do people speak the same language? Do kids play together in the street? Is there a sense of commonality, and is there a sense of community? And I think there is a feeling in too many areas of excessive levels of immigration, regardless of geography, ethnicity. Actually, we finished up with desperately divided societies, and that's the fault of irresponsible immigration policies. Simple as that. Right, now, can I ask Richard and the other MPs to join me, please, now on the stage? Now, gather in quite tight. No one too near the edges. Come forward. Come in. Lee was hiding, I can't believe it. On behalf of all of us, massive thanks for you turning out on a Monday afternoon in such numbers. Massive thanks for your enthusiasm, your optimism, your energy. I know many of you are going to be engaged in these elections coming up. There's one coming up later on this month, a load more coming up on the 7th of May. And what you see before you is a growing parliamentary team, a team that now has more depth and breadth and experience than it had before, and a team that before long will be very much bigger. Thank you, everybody. It's all right.